Hello, CEOs. Welcome to season 3 of Coffee with Bridgett, and I am super excited. Ashley, you're excited?
Yes.
I'm super excited. Season 3, new location, new set, and brand new guests. So today, my guest today is Ashley Langston. And when I tell you that I have watched her the past couple of years do some amazing things, I knew that she would be the best season opener for season 3. So Ashley, I am super delighted you're here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I am glad that you're here. We have so much to talk about. So let's get into it. So for my viewers who don't know who Ashley Langston is, tell my viewers, who is Ashley?
So, aside from being the typical wife, mother, I'm also a professional. My passion is very much around education. I'm an assistant principal for a charter school, so very much overseeing the programming and curriculum for students in grades K-2, managing a team of between like 15 to 18 teachers. I'm also very involved in my church, singing praise and worship, working with children's ministry, supporting or working alongside my husband, who's a youth pastor at our church, to develop and cultivate the lives of young people. But I'm just like super duper excited to be given the opportunity and the privilege to use the skill sets that I have in order to push youth and young adults forward.
So now, if you've kind of followed everything that Ashley said, she said a lot.
Yeah.
And I am a person who is attracted to hearing the successes. I'm attracted to people that are doing stuff, their movement. I'm attracted to seeing growth, and most importantly, for things that are making an impact. Now, you said a whole lot. Now, because I know you personally, I know that you have 2 beautiful girls,
Yes.
And an amazing husband, and now you've launched Ask Ashley TV, which we're going to talk about shortly. But how do you do it all? What is the secret to your success? How do you manage all of these things? I know, I have multiple things going on, but I don't have little ones. So how do you do all of these things and be effective while doing it?
That's a really loaded question. I think the first thing is being very transparent with yourself about where you are and what you want to do. Also, I'm learning myself to be more compassionate to myself as relates to getting things done. And everything relies on systems, to be completely honest. And I think my background in education very much allows me to be systematic in how I manage my household. At some points, I would be managing a classroom of upwards of 30 first graders. So if I could do that, surely I can do 2 children at home. And while it is a different expectation right at home, like I'm taking care of them and I'm not necessarily teaching them from a curriculum necessarily, I think that it's important for me to be gracious to myself and use what I know I have in me in order to manage it all.
So this is good. So I do realize that while managing multiple things, doing your internal work, which is what I have consistently been doing over the past few years, doing your internal work, you know how to be good to yourself. And if you're good to yourself, you can be good to other people. So I know for me, my internal work started with me journaling. It started with me learning more about me, what I like, what I don't like, what makes me happy, what makes me sad, what are things that I wanted to see in my life. When you went through your process of really identifying who Ashley is, what did that process look like?
I think for me, it looks like just leveraging my love for literacy and reading. And whenever I would feel like I was overwhelmed, I would always try to find a book about what I wanted to grow in, or an area that I wanted to grow in. I wanted to learn more skills about how to be a better mom, but also how to be or like start this new journey of entrepreneurship and mentorship. But I always rely on just like my ability to just research and be really reflective about what it is I really want. And ask myself also, why do I want those things, right? Because it can't be grounded in, oh, I want to be perceived as this, or I want more money, but like, does it really align with my passion and my purpose for life? And that's what I'm using as motivation to develop in my own journey.
Now, I got to get to what's new and what's hot and what's popping in Ashley's life. I follow you on social media, And I know that you recently launched Ask Ashley, which I love. I have a segment called Ask Bridgett. I have to have you on one of those as well. So now let's talk about Ask Ashley. What's the passion behind starting Ask Ashley?
I think for me, Ask Ashley was a representation of my evolvement into womanhood. And because I believe I got married so young, got married at 25, still very much trying to figure out my identity while becoming a mom, while transitioning into leadership as in education, and also given this current political climate and context around like just the racial tension and what it means for me to have a voice as a African American woman in society was important to me, but I didn't necessarily have the confidence to branch out and actually have my voice heard. So because of that, after much just like contemplation and it being an idea for years and years, like me finally branching out and saying my voice is important and this is how, and I've learned very much so that a lot of people have been waiting to hear from me. And as a result of that, I have seen so many relationships blossom from branching out.
This is good. So I got a chance to watch a couple of the live videos from Ask Ashley, and I really love that you talk a lot about millennials. I love that you don't shy away from topics that will erupt into conflict. Good conflict is good as adults, as it's healthy for us.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think your target-based group, I think is really good because it covers not just the millennials, but it covers those that are not millennials as well. So what kind of successes have you seen from the Ask Ashley so far?
Yeah, so on Ask Ashley TV, I intentionally select topics, like you said, that are a bit taboo, but also it's very much grounded in a skill set, a theory, a way to approach this issue. And I think that's very different from my experience growing up in church. It's like we're told, we're given a blanket statement as to how to approach a thing, but not necessarily a set of skills that really allow us to be successful as it relates to having the discussion, to be quite honest. I find that a lot of people don't know how to have discussions without having personal attacks against each other or making these general statements about a certain group of people. And it's my hope to create a platform through which we can have those really serious conversations but still love each other at the end of the day. So that's one of the fruits of Ask Ashley TV.
So now, because it's going really well, I'm super proud of you. So what can we expect next from Ask Ashley?
So my plan for the up and coming weeks is to actually start inviting guests similar to this to talk about particular topics, grounding our discussion in actual readings of texts from popular authors and books. I'm also thinking about having people that are very close to me, I don't want to disclose it just yet, come and just have like open conversation about things that people ask me, you know, in my day-to-day life, but to actually have a platform to address those inquiries. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
Wow, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. So this year was a monumental birthday for me. I turned 45. So my theme was fearless and 45. I know this year was a monumental birthday for you also. You turned 30 this year. Yes, come on, 30.
I feel like a big girl now.
And so for me, I chose the theme fearless and 45 because I was determined that nothing was going to hold me back from going after any dream, any goal, anything I wanted at the age of 45. I'm doing it. And I'm grateful to say at 45 I'm debt free outside of my mortgage, thank God. But 30, now that you are 30, what is your personal goal for 30? By the end of this year, where do you see Ashley?
So overall, I think my mantra for this year has become, this is my year to take up space. And for so long, I've kind of minimized my, just like my approach to work, or not necessarily my approach to work, but like my perspective of myself as it relates to my ability to impact people. And I'm being very intentional about taking up space. And for me, it looks like being more more thoughtful in my interactions, going to network events, branching out beyond the scope of my job and church and work, to really just get to know people on a personal level. And I've really seen the fruit of just branching out and taking up more space and telling myself that it's okay for me as a woman to take up space.
That's good.
So that's where I am. Yeah.
So the past few weekends, I've had some great opportunities to really speak at a lot of different women's empowerment events. And I think I shared with you that Sunday that one of the young ladies asked me a question. She asked me a question about how can I look good. She has 5 kids, married and active in church. And she said that she's always tired, but she consistently is, taking care of the household. She wanted to fulfill her goals and her dreams, and she wanted to upgrade her appearance. So, I was able to share with her some of my tools and strategies as far as her appearance and how to go after her dreams. But because I'm not a mom, I told her I would bring this question into this segment. But one of the things that I did share with her about appearance, and that is, I'm a stickler for this. However we see you look on social media, you should look like that in person.
Oh, wow.
Your presentation should be the same. When we meet you in person, we shouldn't have to guess, is this you?
That's funny.
You should look like that. You may not have professional makeup, but you should still look like that. So I was sharing those things with her about making sure that your image is presentable at all times, and really how to go after your dreams and how to go after your goals. But I did tell her I would share this with you. So now, what kind of advice, because I'm sure she's going to be watching, what kind of advice can you leave with her as a millennial, as a mom, as an active wife in ministry, and just taking care of her home? I think she felt a little bit tired and worn down and needed some encouragement. So if you could look at that camera and just give her some advice.
So what I would say to you, can we disclose her name?
I'd rather not.
No. So what I would say to you is, first and foremost, be very intentional about what your purpose is in life, and every decision that you make has to align with what you're called to do. Down to how you decide to get your children dressed in the morning should be very much aligned to who you are as a person. And I feel like, I know for a fact that as a mother, a lot of times, and especially a wife of a husband in ministry, a lot of times your identity can inadvertently be defined by other people, and it's your responsibility to not only take up space but also know what you're going to say in those times when you feel like that pressure of succumbing to this ideal standard of what a wife and mother looks like. You need to know what to say in those moments, not just to other people but to yourself. What is the narrative that you're saying to yourself about your appearance? And very much, I had to learn as a mother now that my body is different, and how I speak to it, right, will manifest in my confidence, right? How I speak to my own way of articulating my thought process, it very much manifests. Everything that you say internally and externally relates to that. And more specifically, as it relates to your children, I think it's important, that you have systems, but you also hold the line in terms of boundaries, right? Like, this is mommy time, and mommy times means that daddy does not interrupt me, and my children do not interrupt me. And you have to have a really intentional conversation about what you need. And I think as a woman, it's very hard to actually say out loud, this is what I need, because everybody's looking to you to fulfill their needs.
So Aria, respect mommy time.
So this is when my husband and I have to collaborate with mommy time. So I'm saying, make sure Aria stays downstairs with Daddy for at least 15 more minutes so I can read this book in the chat. But you have to hold the line.
Oh, God. I'm just excited I feel like we have a newfound partnership.
Yeah,
a common theme, I'm expecting great things. Absolutely. I'm expecting great things for all of my CEOs and all of my viewers. So season 3, we are just getting started, all right? So make sure that you like this video, you share it, you comment, you email me your questions at coffeewithbridgett@gmail.com. Until the next episode. So here at the end of each episode, we cheers. All right, let's cheers to greatness.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon. Bye.